I think we are live, waiting for straight line racing. Yes, we are live. Hello everybody, welcome to round number 2 of the SLR Tier 2 Championship Season 4, and today we're heading back to where we all started, Bahrain, a couple of rounds ago, and hopefully we can just have an exciting race like we did there. Alan's got the glitch already, which is fantastic news. But today we're short of a few drivers, to be honest. Time sort of causing a bit of havoc, but it'll sort itself out eventually, I'm sure, because I'll get angry. We've got a few different drivers this week, like Borob, who raced in T3 last year, but he's returned as a reserve, and MVP is also a reserve. It's coming in today, really capable driver, and hopefully he can unleash a couple of laps to stick on Paul George as well back. Obviously he had some success here in the pre-season race, so he'll be hoping to do the same again. And also St Johnston had some success in Tier 3, we might be able to go on board with him. Going into turn 1, we've also got Edgar here today, which is exciting times, I think. Unfortunately he couldn't make last week, and we'll get some stuff up. Let's see, he's on overtake mode. He's got Jack ahead of him, we're also on a quali lap, but we're still on board with St Johnston. Obviously I told him quite late in the day to get ready for this race, literally like 5 minutes ago, but he's here and he'll be hoping for a decent result. Obviously Aldo and Tatey aren't here today, so yeah, no cost ask. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'll have to probably try and get hold of him, which I haven't attempted to. Obviously if he misses next race then he's out anyway, so yeah, obviously it'd be nice to see him race here, because he's pretty much an SLR legend that no one ever gets to see. But yeah, he's a capable operator, I've been wanting to say that for a while. But St Johnston's on his lap and it looks fairly decent. But looks and what it actually is are two totally different things. Like looks okay, as Alfie Jensen does a 26.7, which is already quicker than the pre-season race time, as St Johnston does a 27.5 with Jack there. Elno goes to a 27.4. Alan goes slowest MVP, does a 0.7 as well. We'll go up from that point of view. Borob's coming to the end of his lap, I think, as George Porridge goes into 5th with a 0.277. Borob pits. Berra is halfway round. Paik is in turn 1. As Edgar is coming to the line and he goes last. Mocking Weeks is on a slow lap. So yeah, we've got obviously, as you can see, we've got no awesome dude, or whatever his name was. Unfortunately he wanted to prioritise PSGL, so good luck to him in that. He was a great commentator while it lasted. It just means I've got to find one, because I won't be here next week, because I start my new job on Thursday, so makes my life even more difficult, as Skin Up is starting his lap. But Alfie Jensen's showing again that he's got quali pace, as we've got Sector 2 incident, as I think Berra was the one who came across the line there and went 3rd. Obviously I'm expecting them times to tumble, or I expect 2 or 3 people into the 26s at the end. Well, a couple more, let's say. But Skin Up is out there at the minute, and he'll be hoping for a good luck, and it looks certainly okay at the minute. This is his first lap, obviously, because he came out a little bit later than everybody else. Usually you can get really like 3 runs, like people in the pits now have already done their first runs, they can go out again, and then again, with the new obviously qualifying for this season with 18 minutes instead of 12. I've also heard that apparently there's going to be a Q4 next season in 2019. I don't know if that's 100% true. which will be fairly interesting. I don't know what that'll entail, but we'll find out. As Skin Up comes around the final few corners, hopefully he can work on his podium from last week, possibly even get the race win. He's capable of it, but Alfie is definitely in the marker down, but he's very, very inconsistent as Alfie in the race, so we'll have to see if he learns from his mistakes. And Skin Up really getting out of shape in the last corner, and his lap is 27.1. He gets in P2, so despite that he got a pretty decent lap in there. I think Barra is pitting, his lap isn't great. And the only other people on track is Pate G, who's got no ERS, so I'm presuming he's not improving, and Edgar also on an in lap. We've got Borob, who's on an out lap, so we could keep an eye on him. But after the first runs, Alfie Jensen doing what he did last time in the pre-season race and laying down that marker to everyone to chase. He had a decent run in the pre-season race as well, in Australia, should I say, Alfie, as well. I think he was actually leading into turn 1, if I remember correctly, but he binned it again. So he's done that twice in 2 races, and if he wants to do anything in this league, he really needs to work on his consistency, does Alfie, and calm the nerves, because you can't really do anything to the best of your ability if you can't be calm and within yourself and be in the zone, as I call it. As Borob is going to start his lap. Obviously Borob in tier 3 last season, I think he uses assists, so I'm not going to judge him on that, but I'm not expecting anything particularly special from the Norwegian. One of, I think, 2 Norwegians in the league this season. We did have 3 Norwegians in tier 3 last season, but 1 dropped out, and Borob's a reserve, and the other one is Muggen, who's unfortunately not here today. He dropped out at the last minute as well. But going to middle sector, Borob seems to be a little bit all over the place. There's St Johnston out there on a lap. Is about to start, so we'll keep an eye on Borob just to kill the time. But he should be able to at least get out of last and probably get top 10. Mocky Meeks has done a fairly okay lap, but nothing particularly special from him yet. I'm expecting him to get closer. Obviously in the pre-season race he did 27.0, and now he's on a 27.8, so there's definitely time there for Mocky Meeks as well. I think he may have made a mistake in that lot, but on board with Borob, still waiting for him to put his lap on the board, and he's the only man not to so far. Obviously Demo Man's actually here as well, but he's joined a bit late, so he's last again. As Borob comes across the line and he goes up to P11, not a brilliant lap from him. We'll go on board with St Johnston, because we saw him halfway around the lap when he started. I think he was the first one in the second runners to actually do so. Going through the second sector now, try and nail the apex. It runs a little bit wide. You don't really want to be on that curb too much, and don't hit that inside curb, as I found out today just trying to take a screenshot. I was on the pad and I just clicked that curb and it went into the wall, but that's just the way it went for me. That's why I'm not league racing anymore, I suppose. A bit out of practice, as we've got St Johnston is coming across the line now. Running out of ERS on the end of it, but he goes P2 with a 27.0, but still no one can get within 3/10 of Alfie Jensen. Elmo is there, Jack's there, but we'll keep an eye on Elmo. I think he might be the next person to cross the line. It looks so. So our Elmo is now coming across the line, and he's going to get P2 to a 0.7, and only a 100th off of Alfie Jensen there, as George improves to a 0.2, still half a second shy of Paul, and we've got Jack and Dusty gonna come along now. So we've got Jack, who's coming into the pits, I think. But he improved, but MVP Dusty definitely does improve, and he goes to a 0.2. Well, basically 0.2, 0.1, 0.2. We've got Mocky Meeks, who is not on a lap. Titanos is not improving. Alan's out there, way off. Same with Peak, and same with Edgar. But Alfie, I think, will be the next one really to try and improve his time. I mean, let me put it in comparison to T1, for example. T1 in pre-season was a 25.9, so we're about 7 or 8 times shy of that so far. As Jack has retired from the session, I don't know if he binned it somewhere, but here goes Alfie, getting a bit of slipstream, but he's 3/10 off, which shows how decent that lap actually was from him. I think only Mocking Weeks is really on a lap as he locks up, which won't help his cause. So he'll be hoping to get up the field. I'll put a tweet out because people... Oh, my phone's died. No. Antonio Carlo, I think that is. If I remember correctly. In the chat, hello to you. Welcome to Tier 2 and the uncertainty this Grand Prix will give. I'm just gonna do a quick tweet and then I'll be with you. Streamlink. Hello Ben Gallagher as well, we're all joining, aren't we? As we're watching Mocking Weeks, I think has he finished that? Yeah, improved to 0.2. It's actually quite close up top in general. It's all within half a second from 6th to 1st, so that's not too bad. As I put my tweet up. Tweet. There we go. Obviously this is like the F2 of this is just like a build up to Tier 1 as Skin Up is in P4 for his first lap. He's on an out lap at the minute. Mocking Weeks, I think he's going for a second well, actually, is he? No, he's not. He's on a in lap his Mocking Weeks for one last attempt. Berra's out there on a lap though. Berra's actually quite far down. I'm presuming he can improve a bit and close the gap. I mean, the top 8 could be within all of within 5/10, which would be a massive, great advert for the league. Saying that, you know, everyone within fairly close distance of each other. But we'll see. But Berra coming around the final corner now. Will he be able to snatch pole away from Alfie Jensen? It's a 26.721. We've got 3 cars within half a tenth of each other. I mean, that's fairly special from Berra there to have the bottle to do that, to get ahead of Alfie Jensen, who's held that position already. That will put pressure on Alfie to pull his finger out, and hopefully these last runs will show something fairly special. But to have 8 cars all within half a second of each other is pretty decent. For this league anyway. Fairly close up front. Obviously I think there's a bit more in there for the likes of Alfie and possibly even Berra himself, who's I don't think will pit. I think he'll just have to go for one more lap. I think 1:31 minute now. I don't think he has time to come into the pits. There's we have 9 viewers now, starting to pick up just a little bit. But if you are just joining us, we've got we're coming to the end of qualifying now. 3 minutes to go. We've got the top 8 all within half a second of each other. Berra's just nicked pole position away from Alfie Jensen. And yeah, that was a very good lap from him under pressure. and what can I say? I mean, we're gonna get onto the last laps. As I think Barra is going to go for a lap. Is he? Oh no, he's run out of fuel. Oh, Barra's timeless, extreme pole, and Skin Up is out of this session, so he's retired. Barra's basically out of this session. We've got Alfie out there. We've got Elmo, who did a 0.8 and didn't improve. Is he going to try and get round and do one more lap? There's Elmo. But we're going to stick with... we're going to go with MVP, who's about to come across the line, in fact. Coming around the final corner. He's currently in P... Oh, no, he isn't. Shut up, Crofty. He was just starting his lap. We'll go back with Alfie Jensen, coming to the back end of his lap now, and he'll be hoping to go back to pole position. Is he? I can't really tell with the gears at the minute if he's actually on a fast run or not. It looks fairly quick. I don't think he's going to improve though. I mean, what do I know? Because he's just got pole position. He's improved by 1/10 of a second and he nicked it away from Berra. And yeah, what do I know? George is out there at the minute. Is he starting a lap? He is. Mocky Meeks. He's currently out there in the middle sector. We're going to go on board with Elno, who's, I think, trying to start a lap. But he's only got 10 seconds to get across this line. Has he timed this perfection or has he bottled it? Oh, he's bottled it. Elmo has run out of time. Or fuel or everything. So Elmo's coming into the pits and that's the end of his session. Berra is also done. Alfie, the only person that's can really threaten him is, I'd say, Dusty and possibly Mocking Me. So I won't say George has got the pace, but here comes Dusty. Can he be the one to dislodge? No, he doesn't improve. We've got George out there, we've got Mocking Weeks out there, and he improves to a 27.0, similar to what he did in the pre-season race, but he's unable to get anywhere near the time of Alfie Jensen. What a lap that is from Alfie Jensen, as obviously last week Matteo set the pace, and the only person really of any threat out there at the minute is, oh, George, and there's a McLaren in the way. Is that Borob? Out of fuel Borob got in the way of George there, and that's ruined his lap. And I'm not surprised if the stewards take a look at that, because that has ruined George. And he'll have to start P8 in the back of this little train of very close cars together. We've got Borob out there, ran out of fuel. Alan's pitting as well, and that's the end of the session. Everyone has finished their runs. So what we can take from that is Alfie Jensen is an absolute beast in the qualifying, and it's very, very close. This could be a very close race as Borob has crossed the line. We're just waiting for people to pit in the pits, yeah, very, very close. Mocking Weeks ends up 4/10 off, 5, 6, I think 6/10 between the top 8. Not bad. So it's going to be extremely close. I think this could end in either a fantastic race or lots of incidents, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it's going to be a fairly controversial one. Hopefully it's a great race for my sake. But yeah, I'm just going to go and get a drink before I die. Right, I am back, and this is a real intriguing one. Obviously, we've got formation lap, and lots and lots and lots to look at for this race. Obviously, if Alfie Jensen can actually convert his pole position this time round instead of bottling it, he'll be extremely happy, I'm sure. But obviously, tyres are really struggle on this game, and yeah, also the handling is a lot more difficult. As you touch that right curb in the right hander, for example, you are in a lot of trouble. But there's no trouble that time. It was a very good start, despite it only being the formation. That was a very good getaway from Alfie, so he'll be hoping to do that again, and hopefully not do what Matteo did and just went backwards and backwards, and then obviously fought his way back through until he binned it. Got Bahrain second. He knows what it's like to lead races and win races, so there'll be no doubting his credentials here. Elmo obviously run the pre-season race here. He's very strong at Bahrain. Be happy with his qualifying. He's placed himself in a good place, and he'll be hoping to lead the Renault. St Johnson will be happy, seeing as I give him 5 minutes notice. He'll be hoping possibly to get in that podium, with Mocky Meeks in just behind. Obviously Mocky Meeks in the first race of the season had wheel problems, and this and the pre-season race he lost in the left and right hander and then had no pace. We have Skin Up out there on track. He's very capable, got podium on the first race. MVP's run races before. George has run races in tier 3 before, but he'll be good with pressure. I know that on several games he's been under pressure, and I'm sure this one won't get to him. Jack in P9, Titanas 10, Borob 11, Alan obviously P9 in the overall standings of the tier 1. So Alan is capable when he learns the game a bit more and gets used to the no assists. Paker 13th, Edgar's not done a lot of 14th, and Demo Man from the back. Obviously he's meant to be in a Sauber, but obviously he didn't join in time. We'll be hoping to be able to work his way through the field like he did in the pre-season race, and he got second place on that occasion. What can he do here, I wonder? Obviously with less people been in it, then it might be a bit more difficult for him, but nice helmet from Alfie as well. But we've got 2 Mercs, well 1 Merc in the top 5 should I say. But I thought the St Johnston was a Merc then. But we're going to get ready. And what a camera angle that is for 5 red lights. And the lights go out and away we go. Alfie looks to get quite a lot of wheel spin off the line. We'll have to go on board as Elmo is getting, they're all jostling for position, and St Johnston on the inside, they're all trying to jostle the way to the outside, but it looks fairly clean so far, and Alfie Jensen maintains the lead after being squeezed out, but it looks like Berra's got the inside line, and St Johnston tucks in behind with Elmo losing a place, and Elmo breaks a bit late and nearly loses front wing. But up ahead there, it looks like Elmo's got a grandstand view of St Johnston, and it's Alfie Jensen who's all over the shop, and St Johnston managed to make that move, but Elmo nearly kills St Johnston, and there is MVP on the inside of Elmo. And they need to be careful because Berra is going and is going to be gone very shortly if they don't all find their position. And George just behind. Look at this by George. He's right on the back of Dusty. We'll get the telemetry up as George, I'd be in overtake mode over that corner, just trying to get ahead of, get the position on MVP. Maybe he's waiting for the straight, but that's very wide by George. Mocky Meeks in 7th, Titanas in 8th, Jack in 9th, and Skin Up 10th. Pake in 11th, Demo Man is in 12th already, and it looks fairly clean. Edgar and Borob in last, and I don't think anyone's actually lost their front wing, which is fairly surprising. So it looks fairly clean from the start. It looks like Berra's already pulled a 1 second lead out on St Johnston, with Alfie in behind, and here comes Elmo on St Johnston. He's going to try around the outside, but does he brake late enough? Does he have enough to stick it down the inside? Alfie leaves him the room, And very nice defence there by Alfie, as Elmo didn't get the exit he wanted, and now that's allowed MVP to make the move. George could have made the move MVP. This could have been George, as MVP goes deep, and Alfie is all over the shop, and Elmo takes advantage. And Alfie Jensen's going from pole position to 6th place. He's going backwards, as Elmo with a great move. Oh, there's a Williams in the wall. It's St. Johnston if we can get him, and he's out. I wonder if that was with Berra or it was just on his own. Maybe he lost it on the curb, but obviously lack of practice probably shows there. But we've got our first casualty from this race on lap 2. I was expecting it a bit earlier, but George is now up to 4th, MVP 3rd, Elno 2nd, and already 3-second lead from Berra, who's running away with this one. Obviously Berra has already claimed a victory this season, and could make it 2 from 2. And St. Johnston leads the session. Obviously, is Alfie is looking for a move on George there, back past George, and George trying it around the outside in the Sauber, and Barry sets the fastest lap. But now George will have the slipstream on Alfie Jensen. We'll stick with Mocky Meets because he's got a grandstand view of this, and he might make it 3 wide bend this way. Will he go for the dive bomb or will he keep it smart? It looks like he's going to try and keep it smart, but gets very close to George, and there goes Titanas right round the outside. What a move by Titanas, caught him napping, and that's what you get for not trying something. You've got to get the level of aggressions just right, and Mocky Mix didn't, and now he's getting squabbled up by not only that but Jack as well, and or Dave as we all know him as. He makes that move down the side, and oh, Mocky Mix and Dave. Oh, Dave, what are you doing, Dave? As we don't know. And Skin Up's the other Force India. We're having a right old party here. We'll go to this view because we can see a bit more. As oh, Demo Man. Oh no, it was all going so well, and then Skin Up unfortunately got tapped around by Demo Man there. And Paik and I think Alan got away with it. Borob was caught up in it. I think Demo Man may have half a front wing. Does Berry use assists? He does, but he can turn them off. He's only using them because they're allowed them, as Mocky Mix and Jack are getting all sorts of close. But Titanas has found some pace from nowhere. I keep writing him off. I keep writing off and telling everyone how he's not that great. But today is definitely that move shows some sort of like awareness and some sort of like, you've got to have something about you to be able to do that, and it's a very good move from Titanas, and he'll be looking at George now, so very smart from Titanas. And yeah, and Alfie and George are still battling, and this is allowing him to close all the time as we're getting the worst camera angles known to man. So we'll go on board with Titanas, who's got a very nice view of all this, as Alan and Skin Up both pit. I'm presuming them two lost their front wing in that incident with Demo Man there. We're expecting the stewards to probably look at that as well, but it looks like Alfie's regained that position, but it seems to be calming down. Oh, Dave! He gets a 10-second penalty for his trouble. I'm not sure if the stewards will allow that to be erased. Obviously he's lost a position, he hasn't actually gained anything, as Dave tries it down the inside and Mocky Mix squeezes him onto the curb. And now Demo Man has got that position, and now Demo Man will be looking at Jack into the braking zone possibly. He's a little bit too far back at the present moment, as Titanas and George are looking at each other, and George has lost half a front wing. I know it's very hard to see, but he's lost his end plates on the right hand side. I don't know, but you can't see it on the front, as you can see there. If you look at the left hand side, there's meant to be end plates there, and there isn't. He looks for a move there, is Titanas. There's yellow flags in sector 3, so something's gone off, and it's Dave. Oh, Davey, baby, what are you doing? You're facing the wrong way, as he'll probably have to come into the pits, as George is making his pit stop. I'm presuming this is because it's the end of the stint. The tyres are struggling. Alfie Jensen doesn't get held up, and George is also coming in. Obviously the early stop, George actually telling me about it, so he pit too early last time, but he he obviously doesn't mind it because he's done the same again. As Demo Man's out to P5 from that start. Obviously, he did take half the field out, but it's Red Bull in 4th, and technically it's Sauber in 5th, not Red Bull. But Demo Man is in 5th for now, but he's meant to be in the Sauber. That's what I'm trying to say. MVP is now looking at Elmo. As these two come closer together, Elmo will be hoping he can close a bit on Berra as well. As Titanas obviously doesn't quite have the pace of these lot, but he's best of the rest. As my phone is charging. See if we can turn it on yet. 20%, let's have yet. And Mocking Meeks is also behind this lot as well. Obviously he was with Dave, but that's kind of gone away now, that threat, as Dave decided to bin it, or Jack. As Alfie Jensen gets past Edgar. If Edgar yet to pit, Alfie Jensen has pitted. We'll get the tyres on the screen. As I'm all full of this, tyres. As yeah, we've got Alfie on fresh softs. As he probably looking to go to the end, as Mocking Weeks comes into the pits, as well as Elmo, who's coming out of the pits. Mocking Weeks is in his box, and Elmo comes out in P7. He's going for the undercut on the front two, and it might just work with the tyres degrading. We'll have a look at MVP tyres. You can see there's a line down the middle, which suggests there's a bit of wear on there, and same with Berra, which suggests the tyres aren't that great at this present point. But then again, Demo Mans don't look particularly fantastic. They all look the same. I can't see the line really. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm presuming these two will be a lot slower than Elmo right now, who will be able, on them fresher tyres, cold tyres as well, be able to try and do something, get a jump on Berra possibly, as George comes out in 10th. Is any close battles on track? I mean, the closest battle on track really is Peak to Borob, or Titanas to Demo Man, but Demo Man's going away from Titanas, so Demo Man's up into 3rd at this point, and MVB's coming to the pits, and it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in terms of where Elmo is. And he's out of the box now. Demo Man goes past, Titanas goes past. Where's Elmo? He's coming around the last corner now, and I think he might be okay. MVP, I think he turned the engine up. Oh, this is going to be quite a lot closer than I thought it would be, but it looks like MVP may have got this. If you go late on the brakes, maybe a bit of slipstream down into turn 2 with them fresher tyres by Elmo, might be able to do something here. I mean, it's very close. Maybe Berra's trying to stretch that stint out, but I wonder if the guys behind are catching him a bit now. I wonder. As Elmo now is looking at MVP, as this is the, well, it's not the closest battle track. We've got George and Edgar, and George, that is overly forceful. I wonder if he's still got that half front wing, or is it just graphic, or is it just mean you can't see his half front wing? He's got a full front wing on that side, so I'm presuming he might have. And Mucky Meeks is down in 11th behind Titanas after their stops. Berra is now in the pits, so where will he come out in terms of where Dutchy is? And Dutchy, not Dutchy, Dusty, as he's trundling out of pit lane. It looks like he's got this one fairly covered. He's coming to the end of it now, and it looks like it's going to be a lot closer than we thought. I mean, he's little manager, he's all the way down there, but he's behind Borob, as Elmo makes the move on Dusty, and now is into P5 as Elmo. And if these two need to work together really to catch Berra rather than battling, but the gap has come down to around 2.5 seconds instead of 3, so they're getting about half a second on Berra. but Berry's got to make the move on Borob. And probably later on Demo Man, so this is far from over. If Demo Man holds him up, then you never know. But Demo Man's doing a stellar job on them tyres that he's on. Obviously the one stop is what he's trying to do. And yeah, he'll probably do softs and then supers later on in the race to do the opposite to what everyone else is doing. And we've got a nice little bit of train here, a Package G train. And Pake G is actually going to be helping Dutch. It might help Elmo here because he's going to block him in. Just a little bit there. He was a bit scared to go on the brakes. And Pake G is actually holding up these two in their pursuit of Berra. But I think Pake's realising this isn't his fight and letting them go. As Borob has let Berra go. And MVP has got ahead of Elmo. So great battle by them as they were getting all sorts of feisty on the straight. And now he'll be hoping. As oh, we've got a message here. Thanks, Borrow. Oh, that was 17 minutes ago. As George is actually in the pits for mediums. So maybe he's thinking maybe the one stop on the medium instead of super soft. He's got a lot of ground to gain because Allen and Charles Allen. I don't think will these guys do a two stop. Dusty is looking at Borob or Borob. What his bloody name is, I can't pronounce. But obviously Barrow's looking at him last lap, and if he wants to actually catch Barrow, he wants to make the move, and he does like a salmon down the inside there, Dusty, and he gets the move done, and Barrow sets the fastest lap, and that is not what you want to see on the bottom of your screens. There's Elmo now in similar with a bit of DRS, makes that move as Borob is in a bit of a move to fight. And he fought against Berra a little bit as well, but it's 3 seconds now to the lead, and the next person for Berra is Demo Man, who is leading. Obviously, like I said earlier, he's meant to be in a Sauber, so that's what his car is, not a Red Bull, because he joined late. That he's ended up in the Red Bull, and obviously he'll be looked at for that incident early on, but Berra has kept his nose clean so far, and hoping to carry on that way. Edgar Muckinix. I think Muckinix has passed Edgar recently. Mind you, Muckinix is dropping back from Titanos. So maybe we're looking at Titanos gets a 5-second stop and go for exceeding track limit. I wonder what horrific things he's been doing. For a better day. It's Elmo. He's starting to look at Dusty. Well, I'm saying that he's still looking at Dusty. There's got a bit of DRS to gain a bit on him. You can see it's come down to nearly half of that. The DRS is really powerful on this game, so yeah, I'll be hoping to use that to good effect as Alfie Jensen. We haven't talked about him too much since his battles with George. He's got perhaps Pake, he's just behind these two. We'll be hoping to find some foam on the tyres. There's a Demo Man who's now got Berra for company. An MVP, this is your chance. If you have anything to catch Berra, you need to be really closing in on him. As you see Berra, Demo Man, oh, Demo Man's definitely held him up there. And you can see there, MVP gained about half a second. There's a, oh, I think Berra lunged down the inside and forced to Demo Man wide there, but it's definitely helped MVP out, who's now within 2 seconds of these two. Which is exactly what I wanted. He's got Elmo, dragging Elmo with him. Berry's saving a lot of his ERS as well, whereas Denman's using quite a lot. Elmo's using a bit more than Dusty, should I say, and but they're in a pretty similar position on lap 11. Because we've got Borob, I think he's just been passed by. Yeah. As Mocking Weeks and Titanus are getting closer. I think Titanus in the second stint is struggling a lot compared to the first. Is Elmo and Dusty are getting a bit feisty, and I think MVP Dusty has kept the position for now. But Willie Lungy goes down the inside, does Elmo, and it just forces Dusty wide. There's a bit of a bang there, and to remind him is I think Elmo in the end just backed out of that. It wasn't his fight, and Demo Man is there as well. It's all getting a bit exciting. And Alfie Jensen has left the session. He's disconnected from P5. Drama. That's our Borob to get past. And that'll allow Pake as well. So that's unfortunate by the pole sitter. As MVP Dusty is right on the back of Demo Man. And Elmo isn't too far behind, but needs to get this done. Does Dusty, and he doesn't get it done. He doesn't decide to lunge it. It'd be probably where I would lunge it and risk it. Maybe he's waiting for the DRS, but then that'll allow Elmo to get the DRS. But I think, and Barra's only there. I thought he's further up the road. He's made a mistake somewhere. As Dusty makes that move, and now he's within 2 seconds of Berra. As Elmo looking to make the exact same move. What? Look at that with the DRS. Down the inside he goes, and it doesn't look like he can. Demo Man isn't giving that one up without a fight, and that puts Elmo a little bit out of contention with the rest. I think Alfie may have. No, he hasn't rejoined. As Mocking Weeks has fell back a bit as well. It's very unpredictable. As George is still fighting away in 13th. But Dusty definitely has a very good chance of winning this race and nicking it away from Berra. As Jack gets a 5-second stop and go. Well, that sums up Dave's race. 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits, 5 seconds stop and go for between the pit lane. That 10-second penalty probably would have got removed, but it's in the middle of nowhere now. As Dusty is definitely closing on Berra. Maybe he's using a bit, saving his ERS a bit. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? Ooh. There's Dusty now is 1.9 back now, so Berra's had a really good last corner, and Alf and Demo Man actually finally pits, and he'll go into the mediums, I'm presuming. So what I'm gathering from this is go soft medium one stop is the one stop strategy rather than super soft mediums. I think there. Can you do super soft mediums? I mean, if you get super soft 8 laps or so, then do 21. I'd like to think you could do that. Interesting. Is anyone that's actually done super soft mediums on this track? Well, the front, you haven't. Titanus, no. Demo Man, done soft mediums, soft supers. I'd like to think someone could try that. We did super softs for 4 laps and then 4 laps. And he thinks he can get the mediums turned from lap 8. So maybe that might be the strategy to go if anyone's listening from T1, super soft mediums. There's a skin up pits for the last time, I think, because his second stop, as Jack has called it a day. As Alfie is he back in the car? I don't think so. I can't tell, is that just a shine or does that tell me he's not in the car? I've got nothing in the charts. No, he's not in the car. Okay. Maybe his internet's died or something. And Mockymix was closing in on Demo Man a bit, but I think Demo Man's starting to get away on the mediums. I think it's actually Demo Man who's closing into Tanas the other way, that's what I've just said. Yeah, he's 7 tenths behind basically his teammate in this race, but obviously he's in the Sauber really, as George has managed to get himself in the points with this Sauber, which he'll be fairly happy with. As Titanes has got some interesting defensive moves there, going really defensive really early. But that's too early in my book. My book. And now Demo Man is starting to really look at Titanes as he's closing right in on mediums. Obviously Titanes on them much older soft tyres. Mockymix even on even older soft tyres. I think Mockymix and Titanes both have to pit, whereas Demo Man is going to and he'll be fairly close to the top 3, as them 3 seem to be fairly stable with each other. I think Elmo's dropped back a bit, but a Demo Man has made the move, and that's got him into P. Oh, my eyes are going 4. 24 seconds off at Elmo. He might be able to get Elmo, you know, when these lot pit, which will be like in 3-4 laps time, I think. There's Mockymix is in the pits. I just spotlight the battle right camera. We haven't got any actual battles on track at the minute. We've got Titanes 1.4 off of Demo Man, but that's Demo Man just overtaken Moribus for lagging all over the place. The closest battle really is that Titanes one, but I've got Skin Up just behind Mockymix, and Skin Up on the mediums, and Mockymix I think made an absolute hash of that first turn coming out the pits, has paid the price. George is now up to P9, he'd be happy to say. He's chasing down Alan, who's had a fairly quiet race, all on his own on the mediums. He's been on them 13 laps. So I'm going to have a look at Alan. He pitted on lap 3 for them. So yeah, AJ disconnected. You're now dead last. Pete G's in 7th, having a nice race as well. There's Titanas Pitts, and Monkey Mix will be looking to come out ahead of him. And Elmo, I think, is pit as well, without me seeing it, and Demoman's 2.3 off of him, so I think Demoman's in for P4. Borob is someone that I haven't really spoke about in this race, but he's in P5, legitimately. Packy G is in P6, legitimately, and so is George, P7, legitimately. And Alan's actually came into the pits. Getting rid of them the mediums, which surprises me a bit. He went on them on lap 3 and then finished them on lap 17, so he went 14 laps on them. Which is fairly interesting, but Dusty comes in the pit trying to get the undercut on Berra, and this could be very close because they're on the same tyres. It's not like he's going on a harder compound like in the first stint. Maybe Berra's trying to stretch it a bit longer and try and go on the the supers at the end, but this could be, yeah, this is going to be very close. If Berra can get, if MVP can gain around a second on this lap, then this could be very close. We've got an incident in Sector 2. I thought that was Berra, but it's not. I mean, yeah. But Skin Up P8. George still P7 on the mediums. But the person waiting for is Berra to pit, and we'll see where they are in conjunction with MVP, and we'll see how close these two really are. And I think Berra's actually pulled out a bit of a gap. I think he's struggling on fuel is Dusty, and Elmo is 3.6 behind, but we'll see exactly where Dusty is. He's coming round the final corner in a second. Obviously the Merc garage is the furthest one along the pit lane, so that's why he's already in the box, but we'll see in a second exactly how close this is. Berra is coming to the end. I think he's got it covered in the end. And yeah, as you can see, there's Berra and there's Dutchy, and Elmo sets the fastest lap of this race, even faster than Dutchy, and it was quite close, but Berra has got the that first place. Andrew is unfortunately not commentating anymore because he's got a PSGL race at 8, so he's decided to concentrate on that instead of commentating. And Berra and them cold tyres is not looking particularly strong so far on this particular lap. He needed to get out there, and oh dear, I've got a bit of a connection issue supposedly. As I can see on stream, it's not looking particularly great, which is not good, and I don't know why. Everything else seems fine. There's Dutchy is looking at Berra still, and it's going to be a very close finish these last 9 laps. Berra's had the pace over Dutchy so far, but MVP Dusty, not Dutchy, Dusty will be all over the back of Berra on this straight in particular. Half a second is the gap. These two are going to get feisty, and if anything happens, Elmo isn't a million miles behind. Berra using some weaving tactics. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've got it. I've got the stream actually on, so we'll see. But Dusty and Berra, and will Dusty be able to take the lead of this race? Berra does very smart defending there, takes the inside line, but what an exit by Dusty, and he knows this is his opportunity. He's got to send it. as Berra goes round the outside, and that's a fair defence by Berra. And now Dusty down the inside. I saw it from a mile off. Berra saw it from a mile off. Does the switchback, but now Dusty has got the inside line going into this very tight corner. Berra goes to Narnia, and after all his great work, Dusty has taken the lead of this race for the first time in 21 laps. And yeah, that is a great move by Dusty. He's been around 2.5 seconds off since lap 1, and now he's managed to get that move done, and Berra will be absolutely fuming. Now it'll be all about, can Berra get that position back? Meanwhile, George has managed to get up to P6 ahead of Pate G, and Skin Up just in behind on them fresher tyres as well. Borob is in 5th, Demo Man doing a great job in 6th as well, and Elno sitting in behind in 7th at the minute. As now we've got round 2, ding ding, as Berra sends one down the inside. Dusty, you're not going to hold it round the outside there, boy, and Berra takes the lead back after his erratic defending costed him before. As yeah, now Dusty will be a little bit miffed that he gave that one away. To late, loud Berra to get the inside line, like he was shocked. But yeah, I'd have definitely took the inside. There's Alfie Jensen joins. I don't know why you're joining now. You're 22 seconds off the next car, Alfie. I don't see you getting a point unless you just dare to finish. There's yeah, we are looking at MVP. Obviously, Elmo hasn't really been able to capitalise after his fastest lap. He hasn't had much else. Demo and behind. We've got a few battles further down with Mocky Mix. Pake's down in 9th now. He's made a few mistakes. And Skin Up is now in 7th. Okay, that's a mistake by George. You can see the line in his tyres, which shows that his tyres are knackered. We're looking for round 3. As you see, Berra goes to the inside, makes it difficult for Dusty, and Dusty knows he won't be getting that move done into turn 1. He'll be knowing get that exit, and I'm surprised he didn't use first gear there. First for the turn-in, and second on exit. But here comes Dusty, and he comes down into turn number 3 now, and he wasn't be able to make the move there this time around. So we've got a bit of a fan club going on in the chat. There's George Porridge gets a 5-second stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. So maybe the super softs and the mediums can't do a 1-stop. Maybe it's soft and mediums for 1-stop, like Demo Man did. As we are having a bit of an argument in the chat. There's a bit of a debate who wants to win, but Dutchy, as Titanis actually left the session at some point, as he's rejoined. He's in 9th in a minute. I think he'll be able to keep that if he gets in his car. As we're on the wrong car here. As Dusty is within 6 tenths. Berra using his weaving tactics. A bit of lag there. Will Dusty dive bomb? No, he's patient this time around. And I think he's trying to lure him into a false sense of security, but Berra is wise to it so far. Go to the inside, Dusty. Go, go. No, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do on the old switcheroo on that one. As Berra maintains the position for another lap, I would presume. But these two are very close together. As Dusty, I know what he tried to do there, it just wasn't quite there. He went to go wide for the exit, just didn't quite work out. This could be a very dangerous corner in this kind of position. Dusty runs wide and that'll cost him on exit. in the end, and Titanis wasn't be able to get back in his car. Unfortunate for him, and unfortunate for him, I don't think he'll be getting any points within this race. As we're going to go back on board with this titanic battle between Berra and Dusty, who look to be going to the finish on this, and the only way this is going to end is an accident, as Berra's running. Look how much. Wouldn't you save the ERS to defend with? He's got nothing, as Dusty saved his, and this could be the reason why Dusty actually gets him in the end. I mean, look, he's in zero on the straight. Dusty's got him, surely, with DRS and extra mode round the outside. Oh, that is a bit cheeky, Berra. Oh, that's very cheeky, Berra. But Dusty just about survives. Now Dusty tries it round the outside. Will he go late on the brakes? He does the switch. Oh, and he tried the switch back again. Trying to be too cute on that occasion, and not quite being able to make that move stick. As I thought they got DSQ'd then. We haven't looked at penalties so far this race, which are fair interesting. Obviously, the Hungarian and Dutch driver here. Berra has one warning. Dusty has. Oh, he has a stop and go. Why did he get a stop and go? Oh, he pit. Oh, Dusty. So that takes away from the romantic aspect of this race. As Dusty, obviously, that stop and go penalty isn't going to win this race, unfortunately. Sorry to hype it up like it did. It was now or never, but yeah, that's just what it is, I suppose. We're going to look further down the field. Mockymix have been making steady progress up into P6. They'll be looking to get borrowed by the end of this race. Also, George will probably be hoping to get near Peak G. As we've got Gabor. Hello, Gabor. I think you're supporting Berra on this one. Well, it's just what it is for Andy. Is Dusty. We can still enjoy the battle, even though it's pointless. As you will know, Frandy, we had a lot of pointless battles in our time. As Dusty could have tried it on inside, decided to back out on Berra that occasion. He tries it on the outside. Berra doesn't leave any room, but he has a right to do that. Shh. As Dusty is still behind, looking the rear of that Mercedes like it's a movable object, that Mercedes at the minute. Mockymix is starting to close in on Borob a bit. It's within 1.1 second. Well, 1 second now. But we'll get back to the Dusty battle, because this is a little bit more exciting at this point. Who's going to cross the line first on paper? I mean, Dusty could still pull a gap. This time Berra has actually saved some battery on him, so Dusty might not be able to get him, even though he's a lot closer. And this time, look, Dusty's got him well before the braking zone, but on the brakes, oh, they come together a little bit, but Dusty might be able to get the exit, and he does get the exit. Now he's got to defend well. He's got to go to the inside. Dusty, inside. He decides not to take the inside. He wants the outside. And it looks like Berra has absolutely done him. Yeah, Elmo does need to close up, but he's 3 seconds off at the minute, off of these two, and he's been there for quite a while. As we're going to go on board with a demo man, Borob, as they're having a bit of a ding dong. As though the Mockymix has spanned the wheels up to Narnia with 3 laps to go now. As we're about to have another round of "Am I gonna get you" by MVP or Dusty? Now that is a good question. Is he gonna get him? because he did have him a couple of occasions, but didn't quite make it stick. But now MVP, not as close as the last lap, but still within range. I'd say he's getting his tyres a bit dirty. Will he dive bomb? No, he will not. I suppose on the last lap he might give it a go, but he's only got one more lap after this one to give it a go. And Mocky Mix is all over the back of Borob. Because we shouldn't really be cutting away from this scintillating battle, really, should we? But for the occasion of this, we will. And Skin Up's actually not far behind as well. So we've got a three-way battle for 5th place going off here as Mocky Mix with DRS. Not brave enough to take the inside. And I find that really weird because there's a lot of room on there, and I always mention it is Mocky Mix definitely squeezes there, but Borob went to the outside, that's why. And Skin Up, will he be able to get an exit on him? No, not really, but back to the front as we go on to the last lap. Dusty won't win this race unless Berra gets 10 million penalties. We can check, but I don't think anything has changed. He's got another warning, but also Dusty's on the edge of another penalty as well, but it's going to be very close. And Titanus's Ghost might actually gift Berra a bit of DRS here, I wonder. Will it save him? He'd need a bit of DRS. He's not going to get it off of the Ghost. He was in the detection zone. I don't know where it is on this track, but here comes MVP. One last time. He knows it. Oh, he goes around the outside. He goes very deep. And Berra defends smartly there. But going down into the second, he's run out of ERS, but so has Berra. And they've got nothing between them. And now really you've got to save it for the middle straight, because that is his last and final opportunity really to really get Berra, but I think he's already resigned to his fate at this point. And Elmo unfortunately wasn't be able to close up to make this a three-way battle like it was earlier on, but yeah, they've kept it clean, and fair play to them to put on a show like this. Obviously if you're enjoying this, we've got 2-1 in a bit, and that should be very explosive, with several guys looking to win as MVP. Unfortunately for him, he's going to get second place, but Berra, you've got to say, what a drive from him to maintain this this lead. He's hard. He obviously had 2.5 seconds, but he lost it and then had to get it back, and he lost it and he got it back, and he's been in this titanic battle for the last 10 laps, and he's been able to hold his bottle. And coming around the final corners right now, and it's going to be Berra who's going to take the second win of the season at Bahrain, and he'll be absolutely delighted. Condolences to MVP, who put up a really good fight and made for a really good race. Elmo in third. Demo Man off, as you see, with that one-stop, the boring one-stop strategy, comes home in fourth. In the Red Bull, which should be a Sauber, but it isn't. Mocky Winks in the Haas, in the end, comes out and does a really good race, and comes on P5. He'll be fairly happy with that after what's happened in his race. Skin Up P6 after his podium last week. He'll be fairly disappointed. Borob will be fairly happy with that. Paik with that finish, but we've got a little bit of a battle here between Paik and George. Can George go? Oh, George Porridge, he tried getting the exit of all exits, span the wheels up and nearly binned it on the last corner. That would be the ultimate bottle, but George got P9 in the end, Paik in P8, and that was very close. Alan will take a fairly quiet P10, and then we've got Titanus 11th, Edgar 12th, Alfie disconnecting in 13th, and that is that. So obviously in the championship, Berra will take his second win of the season and already take a fairly commanding lead in that, obviously showing that he can dominate tier 2 as well as 3. Got some messages? No, I haven't got any messages in. But yeah, it was a fascinating race. I think it was a lot more exciting than the pre-season race in many respects. But obviously we'll have the driver of the day vote up in a little while. Obviously I won't be commentating again, I don't think, because I'm starting work this week, so we'll see what we can do for next week. But who wouldn't want to commentate on a race like that? Really amazing to see a driver found it, have a bit of that. But yeah guys, if you did enjoy it, stick a like on the video, and also follow us on Twitter, Straight Line Racing, and we will see you in about 20 minutes with Owen and Dave, or Jack, who crashed out unfortunately from this race, in a little while for the T1 action, and hope you enjoy that as well. Thank you guys, and I will see you later. Nene over 7, and I am out.